This is the astrology full moon reading in Scorpio for Sagittarius. Sagittarius, how are you feeling underneath the Scorpio full moon? Some of you Sagittarius actually are Ophiuchus, so you are the 13th sign if you were born between November 22nd and December 13th. So, you have Scorpio energy available to you in your chart if you were born within that time range. So, how are you feeling? What's on your mind? What is it that is coming up for you, Sagittarius? And some of you are really being impacted by the Scorpio energy. Are you feeling a lot more emotions than you normally would? Are you receiving spiritual, intuitive downloads and insights? So right now I'm pulling from the astrology deck. The astrology deck pretty much gives us insight into what situation is coming up, what's at play, and what is it that is on your mind, and what's coming up for healing and transmutation for Sagittarius. So the myth has it in astrology that essentially the 13th sign Ophiuchus, what happened was Scorpio allowed for this sign to die, and that's why it is birthed in between Sagittarius and Scorpio, and you house both energies if you're born within that date range. And that's just hidden occult knowledge. It's knowledge that the elite didn't necessarily want to be in the hands of the majority. So this information was hidden for centuries, and then during the 2012 Mayan breakdown, the Ophiuchus started to appear again in the sky, and it can no longer be hidden and concealed like it once was. And so now the energy is just available to us, and that's why we have all experienced the spiritual awakening that we have. So as a Sagittarius or Ophiuchus, you may be feeling this moon very intently. And so we are just going to talk about what's coming up for you, Sagittarius, what to be mindful of, what to look out for, and what's next for you, Sagittarius. Okay. Wow, this is a really good reading. I just pulled from the chakra deck, and with the chakra deck, essentially, what's coming up is I am seeing. I'm now grabbing the ancestor deck for a pull as well, but just from the chakra deck alone, your ancestors have been calling out to you, Sagittarius. They don't want you to repeat things that they've already healed from, and that they're there to help and assist you, but are you listening? Are you closing the door on your ancestor and ancestral practices? Are you still uncertain and unclear about what that entails? And do you know how to start? Are you nervous about starting? What's going on with you and the ancestors? So ancestors, as I pull from the ancestor deck, what message do you all want Sagittarius to know? What is it that they can use your assistance with, and how can they best commune with you? Okay. Alright, Sagittarius. So, again, this is a Scorpio full moon, and we are going to talk about how this energy impacts you and what does it mean and what's next. The first card that came up was Saturn. Saturn appeared upright. Saturn is where we learn our life lessons, the part of us that accepts challenges to gain wisdom. This is the karma of your ancestors. This is the karma that you carry from past lives. This is how we release limitations and things that are restrictive to us once we learn and master these Saturn energy in ourselves, and we create discipline and foundations. So I am seeing that you are creating a foundation for yourself. You become more grounded. You know, Sagittarius can be very flighty, and they don't really necessarily always keep their word or follow through with plans. That's just typical Sagittarius nature. I'm actually more surprised when Sagittarius show up for what it is that they said they were going to show up for. I'm seeing that you're getting more grounded and more alignment with that energy, and it has to do with you drawing closer to God and spiritual energy and universal insight. So have you been spending time like meditating and prayer and consulting with God? Then we have the 11th house, which is the house of group, tribe, and community in your network. So there may be some friends who are influencing you to be your highest self, be a higher vibrating vessel, and to get serious about your prayer life and meditation and the call on your life and what the ancestors have on you. I am seeing, as I'm looking at this spread, that there is spiritual insight and intuitive knowledge that your ancestors want to share with you because they feel like it would aid in the process of some of the things that you have been praying about and contemplating and wondering about and even worrying about on an earthly level. But it does take you to commune with your ancestors. Some of these things that you think are very unique to you and that nobody would understand and nobody would know how to go about, your ancestors have already been there. They've already done that. They've already conquered these particular beasts. But if you are not in a space of being open to their help and to their assistance and into their guidance, then they can't help you. Why would you go through an obstacle that's already been solved or been taken care of? Why would you repeat and go down the same path when all you have to do is look to the ones who came before you? And how did they overcome this? What was it that they did? What would they do in such situations? And I am seeing that it is time for you to, if you don't have an actual ancestor altar, to at least intentionally call on your ancestors. No, you do not know all your ancestors, but they flow through you. They are all around you. They want the best for you. They guide you, and they're there helping you anyway. So you might as well be very intentional about asking for their help and tapping into their presence. I'm getting the balance card for your chakras, which is the root chakra. I'm seeing that it's coming up upside down, so there may be some imbalance about like where are your finances going to come from. How are they going to be consistent? How are you going to start a family? I'm seeing a lot of things that make you grounded or in balance, and it's almost putting you in survival mode. Sagittarius, you've done a lot of work to come out of survival mode. You've worked very intentionally, very diligently, so you cannot allow yourself to go back to this place. Like, you've already done this work. They've done this work. Why are you like going backwards? I understand that we have retrogrades going on right now. I understand that we have a full moon and stuff is coming from underneath the surface, but put that shit back. If it's already been addressed, it's already been healed, it's already been handled, it's no need for you to go backwards. Like, you have so many great things lying ahead of you, but if you keep going about this in the ass backwards way, you only holding up your own bag and your own healing. The love you say you want, the trips you want to take, the freedom you say you want to have, the things you want to learn, all of Sagittarius things about you, the great sex that awaits you. I mean, if you want to go backwards, okay, but unless you're looking back to reflect on how far your ancestral line has came, you have no reason to be going backwards and doing shit in the ass backwards way. And I hate the cuss, but sometimes when I'm dealing with ancestral energy, they come through, depending on the nature of the message, they may be irritated. So Sagittarius, I'm getting that your ancestors, they're still going to love you, protect you, and things like that, but they are irritated that you were being very hard-headed. Like, they see you making great strides and getting started, getting like spiritual knowledge and wisdom, but you are not calling on them. You're not communing with them. You're not leaving them offerings. You're not meditating and asking them things. You're not researching your genealogy. When I say your genealogy, I don't mean that test that takes your DNA. You can do that if you're comfortable with it, but simply going through the county clerk's office and looking through the records to find out all of your ancestry and who they are and what they've already done. Some of the business questions that you have and about expansion and growth, they've done these things whether you knew about it or not in past times. And prayer and meditation and allowing those answers to come to you will be imperative. I have family. So again, your ancestors are coming up very strongly. Your ancestral family has so much they want to share with you, and this is the root chakra, and this is still talking about like money and survival, and it's expanding to higher heights. Like, they've already laid a foundation for you. They already done the fruit work. They've done the hard work. So I know you're a hard working, passionate sign, Sagittarius. I'm not taking that from you. It's one of the things we all love and admire about you. But in this particular situation, in this instance, you don't got to do this by yourself. This doesn't have to be this hard. This is as simple as you being vulnerable enough to call on them. And I'm sensing that this opportunity that you have, the situation that you're manifesting, would manifest quicker for you, and your wish is going to come true. Like we see in the 11th house card with this. But you have to commune with your ancestors for this to happen and for this to occur. We also have the throat chakra, but we have listening. So you can feel that spiritually. You're doing great, but you're supposed to be going a little bit deeper, and you're kind of like, ooh, not so fast. This is too much too soon. Well, when you have been called for a greater purpose, and you have people who came before you who sacrificed and gave their life so that you could be here, they persevered long enough for you to be here. The least you could do is listen to them so that you can manifest what they didn't get to manifest the things that you actually want, that they want to help you with, but you have to listen. And Sagittarius, I know you know so much, so you don't sometimes like to listen, or sometimes you guys just don't slow down long enough to listen, but you've made such great strides, you don't need to go in circles. See these circles on here? This is from a lack of listening. You don't gotta go in circles. You gotta be hard-headed, as you so often are. You can really have what you want, have what you need. It don't have to be strenuous. It doesn't have to be as chaotic as you're making it out to be. It doesn't have to be as hard. You can do this in a simpler way by tapping into all the help and the resources that are available to you. It is not a crime to ask your ancestors for help to overcome things that they've already overcome. Some of you are in some peculiar situation and unique spaces where you may be the only person of color, maybe the only woman. There's different things. I'm seeing different situations. But believe it or not, you have people that you may not even met in your ancestral line who have already mastered that. They've overcome those particular opportunities. And all you have to do is align with them for that to pass. So right now, I'm going to read from the ancestral deck the message that they have for you. This deck is large. It has 64 cards, so it's not like my astrology or my chakra deck where I have like a great familiarity in this area. I actually need to refer to the book because it's such great information that I want to get it all to you. I don't want to skip anything. So we have the vision quest. This is the message that we have from the ancestors. And if you look, this person is cultivated by the energy of the moon. And they are just basking in this energy, and they're flourishing. Their wings, they're shining. Their aura is bright. All that vibrancy that's flowing just within them, all of that passion, that energy. Then in the vision quest, you face your fear, embrace your mortality, and then meet face to face with spirit. When we feel stagnant, a vision quest brings our lives into perspective. We realize our flaws, our potential, and the opportunity life is now offering us. We remain on a vision quest until we find the key to open a new door or write a new chapter in our lives. The invitation. So the invitation is when your card appears upright. The medicine is when you need healing and it comes upside down. This card came upright, so it's the invitation. Find clarity by spending time alone in nature. If you live in a big city, go for walks in the park. If you live in the country, make sure you spend time outside in contemplation. Get off of the couch, get away from the desk, go outside. Spirit helps us and helps those who help themselves. So set your intention and go ask nature for a guiding vision for your life. So the answer you seek are outside. Y'all love being outside and going on journeys anyway. So go for a spiritual adventure outside in nature. Invite your ancestors into that adventure and commune with them intentionally and see how they help you manifest this opportunity that has been weighing on you and that you were close to actualizing. So continue to do what you've been doing, Sagittarius. Just up the ante spiritually by intentionally communing with your ancestors. And that is a Scorpio full moon reading for Sagittarius and Ophiuchus.